All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let's go ahead and get airborne with our live trade brief. I'm excited for this. This is our Q2 full throttle. We open up the doors here at TOPGUN Options to let you all walk around our squadron during regular flight operations. This is normally our solo Amazon brief every Monday morning at 10 a.m., but we're going to do a full throttle brief, and we could not have timed it more perfectly with everything that's going on in the world. If you came to this brief today expecting the volatility index to be up 100 points and the S&P 500 to be crashing right now, welcome to TOPGUN Options. I'm going to explain everything that's going on and how we can potentially profit from all of this stuff. Let me let's start here. And old me, so to speak, 3 years ago, starting a full throttle with these type of questions, I probably would have jumped outside of me and kicked my own ass and taken my lunch money. But let's start with a couple centering questions. How many of you woke up this morning or you were excited to attend full throttle because you want to make money, right? Or need to make some money? I want to make some money and I am fired up to make some money. How many of you want to make money today? And you have to type it in the chat box, and that's over on the right-hand side right there. Don't worry about it, because it's a rhetorical question. You shouldn't want to make money. You shouldn't need to make money. Now, hold on, Wiz. I got a significant other. I got a mortgage. I got a car payment. Hey, man, I get all of those things. Need, want, that all comes from a place of lack. I need, I want. Not one to quote scripture too often, but ask and it shall be given you, seek and you shall find, right? The more you give, the more you get. Okay? So needing something, wanting something, that's kind of coming from a place of lack. Okay, and I get it, man. Need a home, need a car, all that type of stuff. So but start from a place of, first of all, gratitude, man. You are on a webinar right now. Internet. I mean, you're on an internet. Think of that. Now, most of us, probably all of us in this room, were alive before there was an internet. Hell, when I was a young F-18 student, I had to go to the base library to check out books on investing, man. Al Gore hadn't even invented the internet yet. Okay? So we're on a webinar. You might be at home, you might be at work, or you're watching this replay on your cell phone. A cell phone. Are you insane? We all come from a time period with a phone on the wall. You wanted privacy, you needed a long cord to go into your bedroom, right? So I bring all of this stuff up, folks, because 90% of trading, of everything you're going to learn this week that we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about trading and making money and all that type of stuff, but it's emotional. It's absolutely emotional. I've been doing this, a little gray in my beard here. I've been doing this for over 30 years, folks. 3 decades. I've been investing, trading. For decades, I've been teaching people how to invest and how to trade. And I'm here to tell you the number one lesson or takeaway from all of this is take the emotions out of it. Okay? I want to make money. I need to make money. Start getting rid of that stuff, man. You can't make money if you're losing money, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about, and whenever we place any sort of trade, is managing risk. You can't make money if you're losing money. Well, that sounds kind of basic. Well, you would think people understand that, but a lot of people don't, right? So we're going to talk about risk management this week. And remember, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it can always be worse. I helped run a multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm in Chicago. There were times I'd be in my office or down on the trading floor and somebody would run up to me out of breath like, Wiz, oh my God. I'm like, is anybody dead? And they're like, what? I'm like, is anybody dead? And they're like, no, we're having some problems with the quotes, or there's a issue over here in tech. I'm like, then calm down. In my old role as a fighter pilot, if somebody did kick open my office door or run up to me with out of breath, Sometimes people were dead. So let's get centered and just know that all of this should be coming from a place of gratitude. And one more time before we really get airborne, 3 years ago, old me died on a mattress in a home in Mexico. Old me, full of ego and want. I need to make money. I want to make money, and drugs and alcohol. That guy died. That ego died on a mattress on a floor surrounded by some heroes in Mexico. And it really kind of reoriented to how I approach trading and investing and all of that stuff. And I didn't, we'll talk about this on Thursday in our accelerated retirement brief, where we talk about psychedelic assisted therapy and how we're bullish on the names in that space. But folks, I did the medicine to be a better human being, a better father, a better husband. But I got to be honest with you, when I got home, everything kind of got better in my life, especially my investing and my trading. I feel like Neo in the Matrix. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is like, I didn't do ayahuasca to be a better football player. I did ayahuasca to kind of heal some shit and be a better dude. And I really got better at football. So we're going to talk about all that stuff on Thursday. But I'm really excited about this. But come from a place of gratitude. I woke up this morning, man. There's step one. Surrounded by family, roof over my head, running water, fresh running water. I took my 2 morning briefs. Shameless plug. I took my 2 morning briefs. Thanked God for this day, and then I went to hot yoga, and I got my ass kicked in a 60-minute vinyasa. Now I'm ready to start the day. Now I'm ready to talk about trading. Now I'm ready to talk about investing, because I'm coming from a place of gratitude and center. And I ain't no dude. I'm not a chambro. I don't have flowing robes. I do wear some mala beads because they're close to me. But I will tell you that the more I see and the more I do, the less I know. The more medicine work I do, the more I help people, the less I know. I'm not getting full of all sorts of stuff. I'm actually realizing how little I know. So anyway, let's go ahead and get airborne. I'm really excited, man. I'm glad you're here. Why should you listen to me? I'm going to do my intro here in a little bit. We already shot an S&P 500 sniper. I told you to wait for the SPX to turn. It's turning. So we have a bearish trade working on right now. If you're in the Hunters or the Max Afterburner Lifetime group, I put that trade in there. Keep an eye on that. I said, wait for this market to turn. It did, and we shot a sniper trade. But some of you, when you're talking about investing or trading, you're like, I can't wait to be in a hedge fund. Clearly, the smart money, is in hedge funds. And I want to go to cocktail parties and be able to say I'm in a hedge fund. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Barclays has a hedge fund index. And look at the data for the past couple years and last year. This is the smart money, right? These are the people with their seersuckers. Look at that. Look at the S&P 500, folks. Let me take a break really quick because you can close this trade for profit right now. Let's go look at my trading screen. Let me close this real quick. Let's go look. So shot a bear call spread. You can close that, man. Look at this. So I shot a bear call spread at 946, right? At $1.30. Right now, that trades up, 70, 80 cents. 15 contracts. 15 times 80 equals $1,200. So in this live trade brief, you can close this trade right now. You made $1,800. Let's go ahead and close that in case the market snaps back around. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, welcome aboard. Don't worry about it. I'm going to teach you how to do all of this stuff. I'm going to put in an order for 50 cents, make the $1,200, and we're going to go on with our brief here. Again, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. I'm going to teach you how to do this stuff. Let's take, that was a nice, what's that, a 70%? 70%, $1,200 profit in, what was that? It was 12 minutes. Was that hard? That's, if I wasn't going to continue this brief, I'd be done for the day. $1,200, gone, done. going to the beach. 1,200 bucks times 252 trading days is $300,000 annualized. And I'll teach you how to do all of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So again, if you're sitting here going, holy crap, what just happened in this live trade brief? Daniel, muchas gracias. You're welcome. So real quick, folks, this is our lifetime group over here. It's called Max Afterburner. It's an app on your phone. It's on the website here. As soon as I get done talking to you all, I'm going to the beach the rest of the day, and I'll be trading on my phone. Oops. This is called the Max Afterburner group, and then this is called the Hunters. We'll talk about all this stuff, but look at the S&P 500, man. Boom! Nailed it. Look at the S&P 500. And there's the fill right there. Filled, $1,200 profit in about 12 minutes. And you can see where I posted this over here this morning. Hold on, let me scroll up here. Right there. At 9:43, folks. Get ready for a turn in SPX. SPX is the S&P 500. Okay? And then we place the trade right here at 9:45. So at 9:43, get ready for a turn. Whoops, in SPX. 9:45, we shot this sniper. Actually, when I placed that trade, it was at $1.45, but I ended up chasing it and got filled at $1.30. If you got filled at $1.45 when I placed this trade, you can close this trade right now at $1,500 profit. And now look at the S&P 500. It's going, hold on, it's going even lower right now. I knew this was going to, look at this. Boom. So there you go, 1,500 bucks. There you go, Bruce. 60% sniper shot right there. All right. So anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. But there's 1,500 bucks potentially if you were in one of our services already this morning. But I'll keep doing my brief instead of being done for the day because we're here. And a lot of you who are new to Top Gun Options need to know how to do the stuff. But anyway, the average hedge fund last year was at 9%. Now, let's be clear. The term hedge fund means what? You're hedged. You should make money in any market condition, up, down, or sideways, right? We had a hedge fund up in Chicago that I helped build. We don't make the most money. We make money consistently. That was kind of our motto. But that's if you're kind of old and stodgy and you just want consistent returns. Well, take a look at how I did last year. And this was an average year for me in my personal brokerage account. 150% return last year. And if you remember, towards the end of last year, the fall, September, October, it was all over the place. It was a shit show. Look at where this is my personal account here. These are all the other NASDAQ, Dow, all that type of stuff. When things really got nuts towards the end of last year, I destroyed it. You're going to learn this week, ladies and gentlemen, how we can potentially make money up, down, or sideways when we trade options. The S&P 500 last year was up about 20%. The NASDAQ, whoa, 38%. The Dow, 9, I'll round up, 10%. Wiz, 150% as the market went ape shit towards the end of last year. I love volatility. I love blood in the streets. If you want a friend, get a dog. We're going to talk about Israel. We're going to talk about Iran, Ukraine, Russia, China. The world is ending. But ladies and gentlemen, would you rather be broke and miserable as the world is ending? Or would you rather make some money to take care of your family and your friends? That's the answer. So that's what I'm going to do. This week, I'm going to give you up-to-date intelligence briefs. I'm still wired in to a lot of folks who are wired in. Got a lot of buddies in D.C. in a big building with 5 sides and also the other end of that street. So I'll let you know what's going on. Politics, what's going on around the globe, drives markets. You don't care about politics, leave right now. People are like, I can't stand how you talk about politics. Are you high? Do you not know what drives just about every tick in this market? It's all about politics, folks, and welcome to an election year. The jobs numbers are great. Inflation's raging. Everything's great, and if it's not great, it's just you who's messed up. What? The gaslighting going on out of this administration is insane. So I'm going to teach you to trade the market you have, not the one you want. Okay. So I'll give you up-to-date intelligence brief by the end of this week. I guarantee you, you're going to know how to trade options, period. Unless you're a complete idiot. And I have some very close Marine friends, no offense, who can't even spell the word options, and they are some steely-eyed options traders. I love me my Marines. I was up in Sun and Fun this weekend. It's the Woodstock of aviation. I had our No Fallen Heroes Foundation fighter jet up there. Bumped into a couple former students of mine, man, who are retired. That kind of hits me right in the feels. But they're like, dude, I've been following you for years, and they're members of TGO. So if Marines know how to trade options, I'll teach you. And I'm going to show you how to turn panic into profit. If before this brief you were just a stock trader, buy and hold or anything like that, there's only 3 ways you make money trading stocks, folks. It's the buy, hope, and pray method. You buy a stock, you hope it goes up, and if it doesn't, you get on your knees and start praying. That's dumb. As an options trader, we can make money up, down, or even if something is moving sideways. That ain't dumb. That is absolutely fantastic. There's Shrek. He's the definition. There's my brother Shrek. Who'd I see? Oh man, I saw somebody this weekend, Shrek, who man, I forget. All right, so real quick, I'm not going to sell you anything. It's going to sell itself. You literally are after we get done this little intro here, and I got to get trading and everything like that. You're in our squadron. You're walking around. It's called an open house. People are like, do you do trials at TOPGUN Options? Yeah, it's called This Week. I'm going to treat you like a regular TGO member after I do our little intro, and you're going to decide. I'm not selling shit. It's going to sell itself. You don't want to be here, you're not going to be here. I trust the universe. I trust God. So if it's meant for you, it's going to sell itself. Okay, flight schedule real quick. We're in the Welcome Aboard and Investing Basics brief. Tomorrow morning, we're really going to dig super into options basics. I'm going to start opening memberships tomorrow at 10 a.m. in our brief. We only, and this time, in the past, I've been doing a lot of monthly memberships. I'm back to doing just annuals, man. No tire kickers. If we don't get 50 by Thursday, maybe I'll open a couple monthly memberships to fill our 50. Wednesday, I'm going to teach you about spreads. I just shot a spread this morning at the open. You could have made $1,200. And by the time the market turned, that was about an $1,800 trade. If you had held it until the S&P turned around right there. So I essentially paid for an annual membership more or less this morning. So you're welcome. And then Thursday, going to be a good one. You absolutely want to come Thursday because this is it, man. I was shocked, or no, I wasn't shocked because I trust God and the universe. TOPGUN Options is growing, but the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, man, the jet was swarmed. People asking about microdoses, people asking about the medicine. This is a thing. I was going to say it's about to explode. It's already exploded, and it's about to go high order. So Thursday, if you're interested, that's our accelerated retirement brief. We're going to talk about psychedelics, man, and the fact that people at an air show are coming up to me and asking me questions about all this stuff really shows that it's in with mom and pop, and it's really starting to accelerate. Hell, there was a hit piece on Fox News over the weekend before the world started to end about psychedelics are the hottest thing, but health experts warn about dangers. I'm like, brought to you by Big Pharma. That whole article was littered with bullshit. There are risks, man. There are risks in everything. There's risks in trading. There was risks in me going to yoga. I mean, there's risks in everything. But Big Pharma, ladies and gentlemen, is really starting to freak the hell out. Take a look at a chart of Pfizer for the past 5 years after COVID, from a whatever stock down to like 25 or something like that. Big Pharma, unfortunately, is going to jump into the psychedelic space with their size 12 boots and buy it and buy everything, which sucks. Well, it doesn't. I told you I'm bipolar. It sucks. The last thing in the world I want is Big Pharma involved with any sort of healing, because right now they don't give a shit about healing. All they care about, to their credit, are their shareholders and making money. Now, as a human, I think that's disgusting and gross, right? So I'm torn. I hate Big Pharma, but I'm a massive investor in the psychedelic space, so I love Big Pharma. So, like I said, if you want a friend, get a dog. I'm going to teach you how to make money. All right, welcome aboard, Brief. We got to get cruising. Who am I? Why am I? What am I? How do we do all this stuff? We're already 15 minutes into it, so let's get cruising. If you don't know who I am, welcome aboard. Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, Hornet guy from the Navy, graduated from the adversary course. Shrek and I went through the Top Gun course together. He went through the hard course. I went through the slack-jawed reservist adversary course. In order for the good guys and gals to learn how to be awesome and the best in the world, they had to fly against bad guys. So I was a bad guy. I flew in an F-18 painted like a bad guy jet. I controlled other bad guy jets, F-5s, F-15s, F-16s. Man, it was a blast. So I was the bad guy to the good guys. Operation Southern Watch, Noble Legal, and Enduring Freedom. What's this have to do with trading? Everything, man. I didn't join the Navy to get rich. I definitely didn't join the Navy to get rich. I joined the Navy to see the world. Poor kid from South Jersey, South Philadelphia. It was a way out of South Philly and South Jersey, and lived on the beach and loved jets. I at a young age, I'm watching like the Bridges of Toko Ri with my dad, or the Flying Leathernecks or something like that. So I always wanted to serve my country, flying off a boat. Wanted to be rich too. So instead of sitting in a ready room talking about sports, which I did anyway, I'm reading the Wall Street Journal. I'm reading finance books. I'm figuring out how to invest in stocks. I'm figuring out how to trade options. After a buddy of mine, I'll never forget, I was an instructor in the Marine squadron, teaching young Marines and naval aviators how to land aboard the ship. And a buddy of mine's like, dude, you trade stocks? I'm like, yeah. He was a CFP. He was a certified financial planner for like 2 years after he graduated from college, and then he wanted to fly jets for the Navy. He's like, are you selling calls against your long stock position? I'm like, options are weird and dangerous, devil man. Don't talk to me about options. He's like, all right, dude, let's go. Went to lunch at the golf course at Miramar, and an hour and a half later, I actually bought that lunch because it changed my life. He introduced me to the world of options, and I never looked back. Stocks are for chumps. So, as a young aviator, man, I applied everything that I was learning as a fighter pilot to my trading. Having a strategy, implementing tactics that support the strategy, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of a bad or good situation at the right time, managing risk. All right, Wiz, that's you inverted over Top Gun. The sky's a foul in Nevada. You're gonna jokingly talk to me about managing risk? Yeah, man. As a fighter pilot, as an options trader, I love myself too much to fail. And I don't want to lose, whether it's my life, my aircraft, or money. So as you're going to see, as we start trading this week, we're going to talk about managing risk. Before we ever get airborne or we squeeze the trigger on a trade, we know what our loss is, our max potential loss. It's defined. It's not unknown. We don't focus on profit. We focus on loss. If we're not comfortable with this potential loss, we ain't doing a trade. And options are safer than stock, period. Top Gun options, we are in year, 12, 14? I've lost count. How'd it come about? Tragedy, man. My first day at work as a pilot for American Airlines was the morning of September 11th. My wife came in and told me, hey, man, somebody hit the World Trade Center in an airplane. You better come look. I'm like, I'm busy, woman. Small airplane in bad weather. Come on. She gave me that look, and I went out to the living room. I saw what you guys saw. Beautiful day in New York City, big smoking hole. And as I went through my mental aviation checklist of how that could have happened, the next plane hit. I jumped into my old Porsche, my 89 911, and I broke the land speed record getting out to Naval Air Station Fort Worth, where I was flying the Hornet for a reserve squadron. I got out there with a buddy. We called down to maintenance and said, get a couple jets ready, man. Let's get them armed up and ready to go. We ran next door to the F-16 squadron, which was tied into NORAD. It was an Air Force Reserve Squadron, the 457th Fighter Squadron, the SPADs. And we briefed to get airborne and fly combat air patrol. They launched first. My buddy and I were at the hold short, fully armed and ready to go. But by the time they hit their bingo fuel, everybody was essentially on the ground. So I went from potentially flying in an airliner that day to shooting one down. Maybe even shooting down a squadron mate. Most of the guys in my reserve squadron were airborne that day. So imagine being ordered to shoot down an airliner full of you, let alone flown by one of your best friends. Very surreal, just an awful day. So a week later, I got a photocopied letter from American Airlines HR that said, Dear Edward, you're furloughed, which is a polite airline term for laid off. I had my bride. I had my son Matthew, who was 8 months old at the time. I gave myself a half a day to feel sorry for myself. Lost my job, healthcare, everything. And then I'm looking at the TV with people putting posters up at ground zero. Have you seen my husband? Have you seen my wife? I'm like, dude, get over yourself. Get up. Hell of a lot of people got it worse than you. Get over yourself, dude. You'll figure it out. So what did I do? I got up and I said, man, what had been a hobby up until that point, trading, sitting in the ready room and, just making money for fun, I had to pay my bill. So I really focused hard on my trading, man. And I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility options trading firms in the world, headquartered right there in the Chicago Board of Trade. If you've seen Batman, you know that building, but that's the CBOT, the Chicago Board of Trade. I had a blast when we were there. I helped build a hedge fund. Hedge fund was over there. That's our research desk. Here's our traders. The tech folks were over here. It was awesome. Our boardroom was right up there. It was almost like pry fly on an aircraft carrier, all the way up here as the air boss. We could look down on the trading floor. So it was a blast, man. I was a young 40-year-old kid on the floor of the CBOT and the CBO, and man, look at that kid. Whew. Anyway, I jokingly tell people I was Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. Just a retail trader from the streets, hanging out with the smart money, until I realized, ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no such thing as the smart money. We are the smart money, right? So help run that firm, started my own company when I was underneath the mothership called the Options News Network. It was like the CNBC for options. I was shooting on the floor of the CBO and the CBOT and giving you all a behind the scenes look at, what's going on in the market. Wrote a book about all of that called C-Level to C-Level, going from the cockpit essentially to the trading floor in Chicago. And then how do I know there's no such thing as the smart money? Because I destroyed them. We destroyed them. If you were a TGO member in 2020 when the COVID crash happened, you're welcome. I made little old ladies in tennis shoes millionaires. In the span of about 3.5 to 4 weeks, we made $2.5 million. How did we do that? We did the exact opposite of what all the idiots on CNBC and in the White House, Donald Trump, were telling you to do. Stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks. Never been a better time to buy stocks right now. The next day, the Dow went down 3,000 points, and I made about $75,000 on S&P 500 puts. Kyle Bass, they're all going out of my head. Jeffrey Gunlock, Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman was like crying on CNBC. We need to close the stock markets. Everybody just needs to just close the markets. I'm like, fuck you, Bill. I'm on the other side of every one of your bullish trades right now. Don't close shit, man. Thank God they didn't close the markets, because all of us at Top Gun Options made filthy money. It was gross. It was the best thing, one of the best things. Yeah, exactly, Shrek. January 22nd, Donald Trump in Davos. Ray Dalio, right around that, I think the next day or the day before Trump. Cash is trash. Remember that? The beautiful people in Davos in January of 2020. If you're in cash right now, you're an idiot, said Ray Dalio. Donald Trump, January 22nd. Joe Kiernan, CNBC interview. Standard Trump interview, but towards the end, it was like a throwaway question. Joe Kiernan's like, hey, before you go, Mr. President, what about this China flu or bug or virus? What's going on with that? He's like, dumb question, Joe. Why are you even asking me a dumb question like that? You're an idiot. Dumb. I know Xi Jinping. He's a good dude. Great backswing. Been to Mar-a-Lago. Ate a lot of shrimp. Good dude. Not coming here. You're an idiot. I looked into this camera, talked into this microphone. I said, get out. He's lying. I had a deep throat in the White House who's like, dude, this thing escaped from a level 4 weapons facility, and it's bad. I did outsider trading. Do you remember the senators? They left the skiff. They looked at the cameras and said, everything's fine. Everything's great. Don't panic. Everything's fine. No more questions. Honey, call our broker and get us out of everything, and then call all of our friends and get them out of everything. You know what happened to them? Nothing. A year investigation into them. I did outsider trading. I told you, I told everybody who would listen. Wrote a book about it. All right. We also have a Max Afterburner podcast that's ranked in the top 2.5% of podcasts in the world. How many podcasts are in the world, Wiz? 3.3 million. And then this is my pride and joy right now. We'll talk more about this on Thursday, but this is part of my intro of who the hell this guy is ranting right now. No Fallen Heroes Foundation. We're a 501c3, a nonprofit dedicated to saving and changing the lives of our nation's heroes, our veterans, our first responders, and their family members, because they're heroes too. How? Psychedelic assisted therapy. We'll talk more on Thursday. As I said, I went down to Mexico 3 years ago. My anniversary is next month. 3 years with Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, Jared Taylor, JT, one of the founders of Black Rifle Coffee, another Navy SEAL veteran, and an NFL player who was suffering from pretty bad CTE. And I got my ass kicked for about 12 to 14 hours with a psychedelic called ibogaine. It's the most powerful psychedelic in the world. Day and a half later, I experienced 5-MeO DMT. I did a flip. I flipped in a bed, and it was an exorcism. Old Wiz died, new Wiz was born. I came home and I said, holy shit, this is how I'm going to save veterans' lives. Back then, it was 22 veterans a day are killing themselves, which is a mass shooting. There is a mass shooting on a daily basis in the veteran community. A year and a half ago, a couple small community colleges, Duke and the University of Alabama, dug into Uncle Sam's numbers, and they figured out it was a lie. No, I'm shocked. Uncle Sam only counts violent suicides out of their veterans. But when these two institutions talk to people, they're like, no, that dude drank himself to death, or she overdosed. She killed herself with drugs. Uncle Sam wasn't telling us that. So the number is closer to 44 veterans a day. We're going to run out of veterans. They're dying at such a high rate. I'm doing something about it. All right, let's go. That's me, clearly a hell of a lot younger than I am right now. Why do I love this picture? That's us leaving Chicago. No offense to anybody from Chicago. You can keep it, especially nowadays. But back then, I'm like, dude, I need a beach. My wife's from Boca Raton. I need sun and not this. So we left Chicago, came down here to Boca Raton, God's waiting room. And man, I am blessed. This young man's looking at going in the Florida Air National Guard. He's almost done his freshman year out in Boulder, the University of Colorado, with Coach Prime. And my daughter Keely is 16, going on 29 years old, and a cheerleader. Okay, Top Gun options, folks. What do we do here? There's a big Chinese wall, so to speak, in the middle. On the left side, we're going to talk this week about our full throttle training. What is full throttle, man? It's a training program, 8 sessions and live trade briefs to teach you how to trade options. You need to open what is called a paper trading account. I don't think there's a brokerage firm out there that doesn't have a paper trading simulator virtual trading account. I know at E-Trade, you open an account and they give you like $100,000 in monopoly money. Do not, I started this brief with our disclaimers and our warnings. Do not put any capital at, this sounds like so stupid, but I got to teach to the lowest common denominator here. Do not put any capital at risk if you don't know what you're doing. It's amazing to me that the CFTC or, all the regulating agencies, like, you have to have this disclaimer. I'm like, life's tough, and it's even tougher if you're stupid. Don't risk money if you don't know what you're doing. So there we go. I paid my attorneys their retainer today. So we execute in what's in our training environment. We have a service called Solo Amazon. It's every Monday at 10 a.m. We've moved that this week for our full throttle training. And then we have what's called full throttle. Okay, this is what you're here for, a week of training and trading. Real quick before I forget, if you can't make the rest of the briefs or anything like that, Wiz, I'm busy this week and stuff like that, let me give you the replay page. It is right here. go.topgunoptions.com/replay-ft. So control. So that link is in the chat box right now. Everything's going to be on this page, okay? Everything's on this page, blah, 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 blah. That's where all the replays are going to be posted. Okay? Glad I remembered that. Okay, so back on course. So full throttle. What's on the right side of our Chinese wall? This is where, hey, once you know what you're doing and you are ready to put some real capital at risk, we have our execution arm, which is our investment clubs. We have a group called the Hunters. That's my old squadron in Fort Worth. And then we have what's called max afterburner. When you take your left hand and go full forward, fuel dumps in your engine and there's a controlled explosion, and that is called afterburner. Max afterburner is holy shit. Let's go. All right. Now let's focus on our training arm, okay? Underneath full throttle, we're going to talk about 8 training sessions, okay? These are 8 video sessions. Do you even call them video anymore, like videotape, recorded? We're going to do a live one. I need to do some updated full throttle sessions. But folks, 8 training sessions. And then as a complement to those training sessions, here's what we do. Live trade briefs. Demo do. This is how you learned in the military. This is how I learned how to fly a fighter jet. I had my manuals, I had my lectures, and then go do it in a live session, in a simulator first. That's our paper trading accounts, right? So everybody needs, I use E-Trade. There's interactive brokers. Just about everybody's got a simulated or virtual trading session. Okay, so, and I think at E-Trade, you got to fund your account with at least like $1,000 to get real-time quotes. Okay, I don't steer anybody to any individual brokers. I don't get paid by brokers. I don't want to get paid by brokers, but I use E-Trade. I've been using E-Trade for forever. Before that, it was Trade Monster. I helped build Options House, so I used Options House years ago. But brokerage firms, folks, are like the airlines. They all consolidate, get bought by bigger ones. So all the brokerage firms right now are pretty damn good. Even Robinhood is getting a lot better with their optionality and their stuff. Okay, so full throttle, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be 8 training sessions. As soon as you become a member tomorrow, when I open up, when I give you the link to go become a new member, you can start watching these training sessions, man. Hey, these are the markets. This is investing. This is my trade plan, 7-step trade plan. These are calls. These are puts, all the way up to advanced tactics. Okay. So people watch these. They watch them like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Why? Because they're dumb? No, because they're like, dude, I rewatch these and I pick up something new each time I watch it. And then Monday through Thursday, we're in live trade briefs where we practically apply what you learned. This is a building block approach, man. When I showed up at Pensacola Naval Air Station as a young 21, 22-year-old kid, there was a guy in my flight school from Montana whose first flight in an airplane was on an airliner to flight training. He and I started out the same day along with a Learjet pilot. He was a civilian who wanted to fly fighter jets. He almost failed out. 6,000 hours of Learjet experience. The Navy and the Marines were like, yeah, that's all sucks. We're going to break you down and train you our way. So it was a building block approach. This is a wing. This is aerodynamics. That's a cloud. This is an engine. And we take a building block approach. That's exactly how this options training is. I don't start with options. I start with the markets and a trade plan and all sorts of stuff. Okay, so that's what full throttle in itself is. Okay. Like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we do live trade briefs at 10 a.m. The primary brief, weekly options, which are kind of tactical, shorter dated trades, and then AR on Thursday, accelerated retirement, longer dated trades, the psychedelics, Amazon, Microsoft. And then, as I said, on Mondays at 10 a.m., we do a service called Solo Amazon, where, you ready for it? We just trade Amazon. Technically, it's the only stock you'd need to own for the rest of your life. I trade the psychedelics. My portfolio has Amazon and psychedelics. That's it. And as you saw, and if you're still holding the SPX bear call spread, you're at a 95% profit right now. You're up $2,000 as the SPX has imploded during this entire brief, as I told you. So that's what it looks like here at Top Gun Options in a normal week. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. You can go to Trustpilot. I think we have close to 100 reviews and a 4.9 rating. I think I have one star, and it's from a dude who hated my politics. He actually said, I love how I made money with the guy, but I can't stand his politics. Okay, you suck. But anyway, and also on Facebook, I think, 4.9, 115 reviews there. Don't listen to me. Go look at yourself. All right, now let's just talk some basics real quick, okay? There's stocks, duh. Everybody in here should know what the hell a stock is. Let me do this real quick though. Let me get a temperature, because if we don't need to do this, I'm not going to do it. How about that? So do this poll real quick. What's your investing knowledge? Wiz, I'm brand new. I trade or invest in stocks, mutual funds, or ETFs. I trade stocks and options. I'm a Jedi Master. Let's do a quick poll just so I can take a temperature and figure out if I need to drop anchor where I am right now. And if we don't, we're good. I'm brand new, Wiz. I trade or invest in stocks, mutual funds, or ETFs. I don't even know what a mutual fund is anymore. Are there still mutual funds? I trade stocks and options. I'm a Jedi Master. All right, a couple more seconds. Brand new? Nobody's brand new. That's fantastic. I trade or invest in. Okay. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to share this with you. I took a minute. Let me share that. So this is good. Just about nobody in here is brand new, or you're not willing to admit it. That's okay. 7% stocks, mutual funds, or ETFs. So good. So the people who don't trade options, that's 7% in there. Full Throttle is expressly designed to get you from, I don't know what an option is, all the way up to speed. But I'm glad that we got 86% trading stocks and options. That's good. Okay. 7%, I am a Jedi Master. If you think you're good, I'm going to make you better. So stocks, you guys understand it. ETFs are a basket of stocks, right? Some dude or lady got together and said, why don't we just have a bunch of these stocks, and I'm going to call it an ETF, an exchange traded fund. And then obviously we have options. Okay. Rule number 1 in investing, ladies and gentlemen, trade what you know. Do not wake up in the morning, put your bunny slippers on, sip your coffee, and watch CNBC, and some guy in a nice suit and some good hair is like, oh, you need to buy this stock because I said so. Oh, okay. And then you're broke. You deserve everything bad to happen to you if you start trading shit that you don't know. Look around you, man. I'm wearing Lululemon right now, or, I provide healing grants to veterans who do psychedelic assisted therapy. Oh, that's over. So, folks, rule number 1 of investing is to trade what you know. Okay, exactly, Rick. These 7% who are Jedi Masters, you can walk on the rice paper and leave no trace. But can you grab the pebble from my hand? How do you make money with stocks and ETFs? We already talked about this. You buy them, you hope they go up. If you don't, you pray. How do you make money with options? Up, we make money. Down, we make money. And sideways, we make money. You can make money trading options up, down, or sideways. Rule number 2, Wall Street's lying to you. We'll talk about this a little bit on Thursday with our psychedelics and also with Amazon. But ladies and gentlemen, you do not. So for the people, the 7% or the smaller group that said I'm kind of new, this is a lie. You do not need to diversify. Diversification is important, and it's bullshit. Who's lying to you? That guy, a broker. They want you in as many names as possible, ladies and gentlemen, because of commissions. Did you not see The Wolf of Wall Street? Did you not see Boiler Room? Did you not see the movie Wall Street with Bud Fox and the phone book? All right, let's call the little old ladies in tennis shoes, boys. Get them out of that stock that we got them into yesterday and get them into this one. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Commissions. It's called churn. Diversification is for stupid people, right? It's a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense to those who know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing, so I don't need to diversify. But there's a bunch of people, I might be offending some of you in here today. If you take offense to anything, that's on you, right? That's ego. But there's people who are like, wow, I have like 5, 10, 15 positions that I trade or manage. I'm like, how do you do that? Are you literally chained to your desk for 24 hours a day? If you're not doing that, you have no idea what you're doing. I guarantee you. Rule number 3, don't lose money. Duh. No, not duh. People do this all the time. What's the next rule? See rule A. Manage risk and then maybe profit. Look at that. Take a screenshot of that, man, with the little camera icon and print it out and put it next to your trading screen. Don't lose money. Manage risk, profit. If you lead with, I need to make money, you're going to lose money. I guarantee you. That is just awful. Exactly, Mike. Mark Twain. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is all wrong. I tell you, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Okay. Why do we trade options over stocks? How about Bear Stearns? How about Pets.com? How about Enron? Stocks can go to zero. The most you can lose in an options trade, ladies and gentlemen, is what? What you paid for the option, which is a fraction of what you would have paid for the stock. When we talk about options basics tomorrow, what a call is and what a put is, it's a fraction of the cost of buying stock. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Quick review of what options are, folks. What are call options? Call options are usually used when we're bullish. All it is a contract, folks. I'm interested in maybe buying this stock at a future date at a future price. That's a contract. A call option is a contract. Instead of coming out of pocket a shitload of money to buy 1,000 shares of a stock, we're going to come out of pocket and buy 10 call option contracts. Wiz, slow down a little bit. What the hell's a call option? This was a place I was actually looking at in Aspen. Went out to Aspen, was house hunting a couple years ago, right? $5 million house, let's call it. I loved it. First place I looked at. Realtor's like, you probably want to look around for, the next couple weeks, dude. I'm like, I don't want to lose that house. Well, how about I do this? I'm going to come out of pocket 50 grand. Let's give the owner 50 grand to take that home off the market for the next 30 days. I have the right to buy that home in the next 30 days for 50 grand. Okay. If you followed that example, welcome to being an options trader. That's a call option. Now, let's do 2 examples. Let's say during that next month, the governor of Colorado, in his infinite wisdom, says, we're going to build a prison right next to that house. You see that empty lot? That's going to be a maximum security death row prison. Holy shit. The value of this $5 million home goes to 0. What happens to me? I am out 50 grand and I can walk away from it. That's the max potential loss. If I had bought that home for $5 million, I am out $5 million. Now, let's talk about a good example. That empty lot next to this home in Aspen, Jesus, Ganesh, Buddha, and Muhammad come back to life, and they open up a healing center right next to this place. Holy shit. This $5 million home goes up in value $100 million. Guess what happens to that options contract? I had paid 50 grand. That options contract might be worth whatever, $10 million. Right? So in the world of options, I'm going to tell you about 95 to 98% of options contracts are never exercised. People get out of them. I don't take delivery of the house. In this case, I probably would. I wouldn't mind hanging out next to Jesus, Ganesh, Buddha, and Muhammad. But anyway, I have a buddy of mine in Fort Lauderdale who's a yacht broker. The dude's never owned a 150-foot yacht. He just trades the options contracts. He's like, I can't afford a yacht, but I can afford the contracts. So that's a call option, ladies and gentlemen. What is a put option? A put option, generally speaking, is kind of like insurance. You can make money on something as it goes down. If you've ever heard the term, hey, I'm going to buy puts, I used it earlier when I talked about the COVID crash. We were in these live trade briefs as the opening bell would get ready to sound. I'm like, as soon as the S&P starts trading, buy these S&P 500 puts with both hands. What's that? When you've probably seen this in my videos. Hey, buy it with both hands. On the trading floor, ladies and gentlemen, where's my pen? I had a pen here somewhere, but you'd have a pad, you'd have like a kneeboard card, like a fighter pilot, and you'd have a pen. And you'd use hand signals, just like on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 0, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? So you'd be using your fingers to communicate or yell to somebody. And buy is with, hey, I'm going to buy. Or if you push your hand away, it's sell. Hey, I need to sell however many. If you buy with both hands, you're actually, I really want this. Or sell. You've probably seen, watch the movie Trading Places, right? Buy or sell. So, buy it with both hands or sell it with both hands. So, when the opening bell would sound during the COVID crash, I'm like, buy the S&P 500, whatever strike put with both hands. Whatever they're asking for, as soon as hit that bid or the ask, and we got filled. It's really interesting to me, folks, that the 3 largest assets that Americans own are a car, a house, and some sort of portfolio. But doesn't it suck that the government or your mortgage company or your insurance, if you buy a car, you have to have insurance, state of Florida. You buy a home, you got a mortgage, you're going to have some insurance on that home. A portfolio. Do you have insurance on your portfolio, ladies and gentlemen? Or under Joe Biden, has your 401k become a 201k? So we can actually use put options to protect and make money as things implode, right? Lehman Brothers. I made a shitload of money as Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers imploded and went to zero. Stocks and crypto can go to zero. Now, the value of an options contract can also go to zero, but you're out a lot less money. So if you're kind of new to options trading and you're sitting here, that's it, folks. You've been lied to since day one of investing. Like, options are dangerous and they're whatever. It always amazes me. First of all, one of the reasons they've lied to you about options and they're dangerous or whatever is because they don't want you trading them. Literally, when they came up with a call option in the early 70s, it was a bunch of dudes smoking cigars in a room like, hey, instead of coming out of pocket a shitload of money to buy stocks, why don't we just have a contract? We'll call it an option, a call option. Do you think that the dudes in Chicago and New York were like, there'd be an internet in the future and there'd be retail traders? Hell, when I remember buying my first stocks in 1991 at Naval Air Station Key West, it was like a $250 commission. I'm like, that's how much stock I'm buying. They never envisioned that we would be in here, that you would be in here, folks. Okay, so if you've heard that options are dangerous and booga, 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 you've been lied to. Okay. Okay. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, training environment. Going to flight school at Pensacola, you have got to get your virtual trading account all set up, and then we're gonna do our full throttle training. So my mission objective for the rest of the week is to start at the beginning of this kind of training schedule and just give you a little bit of a taste of what we do. Okay. Now, you during this week should absolutely feel like this. You should feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. That's how I felt the entire time in flight school in the United States Navy. That should be the feeling. It shouldn't be, I got all this shit memorized. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a Jedi Master. 7% of the Jedi Masters in this room started their trading and feeling like this. So this is absolutely okay to feel like this. You should feel like this. If you don't, I'd be a little bit worried. Let me do a quick review of our Top Gun options methodology that I just copied and pasted from the United States military. Now, most of you who trade and invest, I guarantee you, are average. That's not meant to offend you, it's the truth. You're very tactical. You don't know what you're doing for lunch or dinner today, let alone what to invest in a year to 2 years to 3 years out into the future. You're very tactical. You're not strategic at all. So at Top Gun Options in our live trade briefs, and I want to do a quick intel update here. I'm going to teach you to do this. It's called SOT. Strategic, operational, tactical. This is how you have to trade. I don't have to do anything. Then don't. This is how you have to trade if you want to make money. What do I mean by strategic? In our live trade briefs, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to start with what's going on, man. I'm going to pick up the binoculars. I'm going to look down range. I'm going to open up my radar scope. What the hell is going on around the globe? Economically, politically, and God forbid, but we have to do this militarily. There's been so many times where retail traders wake up and are like, oh my God, why is my portfolio getting destroyed? What's the Greek debt crisis? Or the Brexit vote? Or holy shit, Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine? Oh, that's why my portfolio is getting destroyed. If you don't know what's going on strategically, folks, you're an idiot. All of these things impact your portfolio. What's the ECB doing with interest rates over in Europe? What's going on with China and Taiwan, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Iran, folks? We'll do 5, 10, depending on what's going on, 15-minute brief about what's going on. I'm going to treat you like you're a general or an admiral, and I'm some punk lieutenant giving you your brief. Sit there with your cigar and your boots up on the table. But listen, then we're going to peel the layers back. We're going to go one level deep and take a look at operationally what's going on. What do I mean by operationally? What's going on here, man? What's going on domestically, economically, and politically? What's going on with interest rates? What's going on with inflation? It's raging. No, it isn't. If it's raging, it's only for you. No, it's actually raging. So what's going on with the Federal Reserve? What's going on with interest rates? What's going on with employment? We're being lied to, by the way. The BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is Biden labor statistics. The jobs market's on fire. All the full-time jobs are going to illegal immigrants, and every new job created was a part-time job because people are dying to death from inflation and having to get multiple jobs. No, but the jobs number is great. Yeah, the innards of it are a horror. No, but it's great. Okay? And then politically, I loved Barack Hussein Obama. Wait, what did this guy just say? You heard me. I loved Barack Hussein Obama and Speaker Boehner. I loved government shutdowns. Do you remember that shit? Sequestration. If we don't do our job, automatic spending cuts kick in. How about you do your job? I loved government shutdowns. The volatility index would spike. I'd print money. And we all knew I'd love for this to happen, but the government doesn't stay shut down forever. We'd have these government shutdowns where the volatility index would spike, the market would implode, and I'd print money. We'd make like 20 grand on a government shutdown as the market freaked out. And then John Boehner, with his quivering lip, smelling like cigarettes, would come to the microphone and say, all right, well, we agreed. Now we're going to open the government. And the volatility index would smash and the market would rally. Free money. I love to gridlock and I love that shit. So don't tell me like, I don't want to talk politics. Then leave. I will show you how to make money off the stupidity in Washington. Then and only then, ladies and gentlemen, can we get tactical and talk about trades. Thankfully, I think most people are getting to know Top Gun options because years ago, people would come in like, I'm sick of all this. Where are the trades for today? I'm like, what's that guy's name? Boot. Leave. If you're just a tactical trader, first of all, you can't for a long time. You're going to burn out or you're going to lose your money. I guarantee you this is how you need to trade and invest. If for some reason you are that one in a quadrillion tactical trader who doesn't care about anything else, God bless you. That ain't me. Okay, real quick, and we are on schedule. I got about 15 minutes left because I want to go look over in your materials tab over here, or handouts. Over on the right-hand side where it says handouts, 305, I've given you my trade plan, my OPCL, the options pocket checklist, and a one-page trade plan. I, ladies and gentlemen, am an old man. I have a whole, I think I keep Staples and Office Depot in business. You see these? These are knee board cards. Because in the cockpit of a fighter jet, that's your desk. It fits, these cards fit right on your knee. This is where I write every trade down. I grab a pen and I write what we're going to go through. Why? I'm not an Excel sheet, trade plan, or Word document guy because that's ones and zeros on a screen. I like picking up my pen, engaging my brain housing group with un stilo, and writing down this trade plan. Why? Because in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long, if something changes and I go back and look at this plan, it helps take the emotion out of it. Like, hey, I said I was going to get out of this if this happened. That's my handwriting, dude. Are you going to listen to you or are you going to get emotional? If it's words on a screen or an Excel sheet, it's kind of, that's just me. I can get you an electric trade plan. I can get you a Word doc. There are TGO members that have come up with Gucci. They look like they're in the control center in Riyadh where I was stationed as the mobile targeting officer. I'm not. I'm a caveman. I write. Okay, so let's go through this real quick. Before you place any trade this week, you're going to go through this trade plan. Let's review it real quick. Strategic mindset, step 1. Okay, and remember, this is the bottom of the pyramid. In a brief, I already briefed you strategic, then operational. Now we're getting tactical, and we're going to be trading in our live trade briefs. Here we go. Step 1, what is your current strategic mindset? Bullish, which means you think stocks are going to go up. Bearish, you think they're going to go down. Volatile, they're all over the place, man. Or neutral, it's kind of churning sideways, okay? And you can have variations of it, though, like this, for example. I'm cautiously bullish. I'm extremely bearish, right? So there's variations of it. Let's go look real quick at the S&P 500 right now, today, as we are speaking. Look at that chart. This is the S&P 500. I live, eat, and breathe the S&P 500. Not the Russell, not the NASDAQ, not the Dow. I'm an S&P 500. These are called moving averages. That's the 20-day moving average. The blue is the 100-day moving average. And the red down here is the 200-day moving average. We, ladies and gentlemen, have had a monster rip your face off rally from November. This thing hasn't stopped. A 5-month rally. Things do not go on forever. Me, this live trade brief, you, let's look at a 9-month chart. Remember this? This is where I showed you my personal account, right? When things started really going apeshit during this stuff, my portfolio did that. Everybody's a genius, ladies and gentlemen, when the market's going straight up, aren't you? No, you're not. I'm a genius. The true geniuses are the ones who print money when it's doing this shit. And we're getting ready to do this shit. So, looking at this chart, I'm going to ask you all a question. Let me go back down to 6 months. Let me do another poll right here real quick. Second poll that I'm launching. What's your market outlook until my birthday, December 31st of this year? I'm a New Year's baby. And I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Are you bullish? Market up. Are you bearish? Market's going to go down, dude. Volatile. Dude, we're going to be all over the place through the end of the year. Neutral. We're going to level off and we're going to trade sideways for a bit. You're welcome. So you held that trade? So there's somebody who held the trade from the beginning of this brief and they're up $2,200. I'd close that right now because we might bounce off of 5130 here. Are you bullish, bearish, volatile, or neutral? Okay. Nice job, Mark. Wiz, FYI, logged on early today. Paper traded your SPX vertical spread. I did 3 contracts, made $242 in paper trading. Pretty cool. That is, Mark. That's the way we do it. All right. One more second. Bullish, bearish, volatile, neutral. Nobody picked my bottom one. All right, let me close that. Let me share it. 10% bullish, 29% bearish, 56% up, down, sideways, all over the place, 4% neutral. Nobody chose the last one. We might not make it to the end of the year. So that I guess that's a good one. So on your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the market. Some of you said up, some of you said down, some of you said sideways. So guess what? Each one of you are on the other side of people's trades. What am I? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I am. I'm going to trade the market we have, not the one we want. Tomorrow, as we dig into more of our briefs, we're going to be talking about inflation. We're going to be talking rate cuts. We're going to be talking all sorts of stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, and right now we're higher for longer, right? The Federal Reserve is going to leave interest rates higher for longer. What does that mean for the market? Stocks are still trading near record levels, but some investors say further gains may be more difficult. So I'm going to save what my strategic mindset is to the end of this year to tomorrow's primary live trade brief, because we're going to be placing some trades. Okay, so let's just do a quick review. There is step 1 of the trade plan. Before you do anything else in your trade plan, you're up here at a 50,000 foot, 100,000 foot view. Step 1, what is my strategic mindset? You wrote that down, okay? And remind me tomorrow, I can share some of the trade plans with you that some of our members have sent me and share, which are pretty cool. Again, I go to Office Depot and Staples, and I keep them in business. Okay, step 2, ladies and gentlemen, is when we identify our target. What's a target? It's the stock, it's the ETF, it's the index that we're going to trade. Okay? Now, I'm not a tax accountant, I'm not your tax attorney, I don't play one on TV, but maybe you, get better tax treatment trading an index over an ETF. Do not trade an ETF if there's an index you can trade. Do not trade SPY, trade SPX. Right there, based on the amount of trading I do, I just paid for about 10 annual memberships for me personally, okay? And by the way, as we get into options trading this week, ETFs settle in shares, which could be bad. Indexes settle in cash, which is a lot better. So we'll dig into this more in our full throttle training, but just whenever I talk about trading an index, I always go, dude, tell them it's better tax treatment, potentially, than trading an ETF. Do not trade an ETF if there's an index. Step 3, we have our strategic mindset. I know what I'm targeting. Why am I committing capital to this trade? It's called commit criteria. In a fighter jet, why am I going to point my nose in this direction and go do something? I have what are called commit criteria. And in my trade plan, why? It's a simple question. It should be a simple answer, right? Why are you in this trade? I call it a cocktail party pitch, folks, or an elevator pitch. If you've ever done sales, if I get in on the 30th floor with you by the lobby, if you pitch me on getting into this trade, when those doors open, I should go, holy shit, I need to be in this trade. Folks, it's 3 to 5 sentences. Again, grab a pen and write them down. I'm doing this bearish trade on the S&P 500. Boom, 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 boom. 3 to 5 sentences. Okay? Now, listen to me. This is the most important part of the trade plan. Why? Because if those 3 to 5 sentences that you come up with before you even place the trade change during the life of the trade, why are you staying in it? This, ladies and gentlemen, gets rid of the emotion. I committed capital to this trade for these reasons. 3 weeks later, holy shit, that sentence ain't valid anymore. Eject. Get out of the trade. You sign for your jet. I use the term PIC or TIC. You're the trader in command. You're the pilot in command of your portfolio, not me. I'm a single seat trader. I'm a single seat fighter pilot. My arms aren't long enough to reach over into your cockpit and grab the stick and the throttle and fly your airplane for you. You got to do it. So if you look at your commit criteria down the road and they've changed and you go, you know what? I'm going to stay in it. All right, grab your cigar and put your scarf out the cockpit. That's on you. But you wrote it down. This is why I'm getting into this trade. Boom. Step 4 is the tactic, not a strategy. If you've ever gone to one of these briefs and the dude or the lady's like, my favorite option strategy is a condor, smack him in the face. That's a tactic, ma'am or dude. There's no such thing as an option strategy. A strategy is, in this example, would be, I want to manage risk, buy an airplane in 6 months, buy a boat, save for college, whatever. Those are strategies, man. And Iron Condor is a tactic to support your strategy. If you've ever heard somebody use the term option strategy, they're an idiot. So we select the tactic based on our strategic mindset and our 3 to 5 sentences. This ain't, if you have a basic understanding of options, folks, that call and put example, welcome to being an options trader. This is simply the trade, a bull put spread, an iron condor, a diagonal. Over there in the handout, I also gave you our OPCL, our options pocket checklist. Download that, print it out. I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up, though. You're probably going to waste 28 pages of paper, 26 pages of paper. Why? Out of the 32 tactics in that options pocket checklist, I use about 4, 5. Do not be that dude at a cocktail party. Oh, I trade options. I do reverse condor twist calendar spreads with a reverse candle covered naked. I look at those people. I'm like, so it's just this basic tactic. Yeah, but I said it differently and move my hands like this. Folks, basic options tactics. You can do all the cosmic shit if you want to impress people. It's not needed. So, step 5, tactical employment. This is how we set up the trade, the individual legs, so to speak. The price I want to try and get filled at, okay? This is setting up the trade, and I'm going to do this throughout the week. We're going to set up, I'll show you how I set up the individual trades, okay? And what the max potential loss is, the max potential profit. We look at all the metrics of the trade. Step 6, mid-course guidance. Folks, I never dropped a bomb in anger and closed my eyes and said, man, I hope that hits something. Look at Israel. Oh, we used our AI targeting system, and oh, geez, we killed 7 innocent people. Sorry. You need some mid-course guidance, folks. What if? What if this trade starts going against me? What am I going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, the time for me to decide what I'm going to do if I get shot at by a missile over Syria is not when I get shot at by a missile over Syria. When I'm sitting in the air conditioning, sipping on my venti upside down caramel macchiato, I think through all of these things. I didn't even get airborne yet, and I know what I'm going to do if something goes wrong. We didn't even fire a trade yet, folks, and we know what we're going to do if it starts moving against us or it's profiting. We like what we don't like to say, but we say our SOP, our standard operating procedure, is written in blood. Why? Because people did dumb shit in front of us. As we go on through this week, I'm going to give you my SOP, my trade SOP. These are my profit targets. These are my loss, acceptable loss. Step 7, the Colin Powell step. What's that mean? Before, when George Bush, the naval aviator, not the cokehead, went to Colin Powell and said, get Iraq out of Kuwait. Before he left the room, he grabbed the president and said, oh, but I can do it. What's victory look like? When are we leaving? This Vietnam officer knew better. I want to know what victory is before I even start. So before we even place a trade, ladies and gentlemen, we know when we're getting out. When you hit your profit or loss target, do it. There's a lot of aircraft a mile short of the runway or at the bottom of the ocean from people who what? Didn't follow the SOP or tried to stretch it a little too far. Okay. So, folks, this is as in depth into the trade plan as I'm going to go this week because all the other briefs, I'm doing it. I do this and we're going to cruise through it, but I needed to take a nice drive through here. All right, let's wrap up because we're right on time. What do you need to trade successfully, folks? Training. That takes a building block approach. That's the full throttle 8 sessions. A tight plan. I just gave it to you. That has strategy, tactics, managing risk, contingency planning. We're going to debrief. Each week, we take a look at a trade that we placed. If it made money or lost money, we're going to take a look at why. And obviously, a practical application. These live trade briefs are a practical application. How the hell do you know what I need to trade to be successful? I've been you, man. I've gone to these type of briefs and I'm like, okay, now what? You told me what a call option is. What do I do? I rose from being that type of person, a young lieutenant flying the Hornet, to managing director of a multi-billion-dollar Wall Street firm, folks. So I've done this. I built this for me, for you. I took the Steve Jobs approach at Apple. We just make cool booger eater things, and if people like it, yay. But we make cool things for us. All right. Before we go, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. Required listening. You need to listen to the Max Afterburner podcast. I talk trading, but also just as importantly, or more importantly, in my opinion, I talk about the medicine work. So if you're brand new here, folks, let me give you this. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeart. You can also, you have got to go to the No Fallen Heroes YouTube channel. You can watch these podcasts and this great content. So you have some homework to do. You have got to do me a favor and yourself a favor. Follow our page right here. We need a hell of a lot more subscribers than that. But start listening if you're in traffic or working out today to the Max Afterburner podcast, but also watching the videos with all of these guests. This is going to frame Thursday, our accelerated retirement brief. Okay, so this is required listening or required viewing. Because like I told you, this is the only thing that I'm bullish on the rest of for the rest of my life here. Okay, so start listening to the Max Afterburner podcast and our YouTube channel. Okay, there's some reading. You're not going to do this week, obviously, but take a screenshot of this. What you're looking at me in. There's a little camera icon on the top. Throughout the week, you can take a screenshot of this stuff. During the COVID stupidity, I threw out just about every book on investing. I had a huge bookshelf filled with all investing and this, recycled all of them. They're an absolute waste. The Federal Reserve and all the bullshit going on that we're going to talk about this week, that's all that matters. But these are foundational books. These will never go out of use. When Genius Failed, Liar's Poker, and this one's a big one because we were talking about this in the Max Afterburner brief thread this morning. Somebody's like, it's World War III. The country of Iran, for the first time, they've been cowards this whole time. They use proxies, right? We're cowards. We're using Ukrainian boys to fight Russia for us, right? We're cowards. Anybody who fights a proxy war is a coward. So Iranians, for the first time in their history, struck Israel. People were like, holy shit, the VIX is going to, pop and all sorts of stuff at the open today, and the market's going to implode. I'm like, that's exactly not what's going to happen. We're going to pop, and then the market's going to sell off. It's almost like I do this for a living. So we put on bearish trades last week. Our volatility trade is printing money, and also our bearish S&P 500 trade. They're both printing money right now. Why am I rambling about this? Because you'll read about that in the Myth of the Rational Market. There's also some good required reading to help you get centered to be a better trader. Again, I never thought I'd end a brief with this, a welcome aboard brief with this type of stuff, but I am. Take a screenshot of this, order these books on Amazon, read them. The Power of Now, sitting over there, it looks like it's been read a million times, and I think I probably have, and I'm not being facetious. And I'm at a highlighter. The Power of Now, A New Earth, and the Four Agreements, folks, is that thick. You can knock that out in an afternoon. Read the Four Agreements. Period. Okay. I'm a big Dr. Joe guy. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is a good one too. Again, folks, you can't talk about trading and making. I need to make money. I want to make. You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, commanding officer, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. No, folks, you don't. It can't come from need. It can't come from want. The more you give, the more you get. I guarantee you that's how it's going to work. Trade the rest of the week as you learn about Top Gun options, what I do here. It's really, really going to help you to be centered. So do some required thinking. Google, go on YouTube. 3 years ago, I couldn't sit still for 30 seconds. Meditation sounded like the dumbest thing in the world. I got shit to do. I got things to think. Now, I did my 20-minute meditation this morning. I'll do a 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock every day, man. Helps me get centered going into the market close. 20 minutes at 3 o'clock, 20 minutes when I wake up in the morning. This coming from a guy who couldn't sit still. Now I know that all the goodness in my life, from trading to relationships to being a better human, come from the silence. Please try and get a mindfulness practice going. It's coming from me, folks, who couldn't sit still for 30 seconds. Did anyone die? Now, I know in trading, if you lose money on a trade, it sucks. I get it. But you get to go home that night and you get to try again. You can always make more money. What's that Doritos commercial? Crunch all you want, we'll make more. You can make more, man. But we're going to talk about capital preservation first, risk management first. But always remember this, man, it can be worse. Be present. Go on to the next hole. Watching the Masters, man. If you shank, double bogey, and you suck on a hole, do you carry that to the next hole? Man, I sucked and I'm awful. No. Be present, baby. That hole's behind you. That's in the past. Marcus Luttrell in a gunfight with the Taliban with his brothers. His buddy Danny Dietz, like, dude, am I shot? Marcus is like, yeah, dude, you're living in the past. We're all shot. You're in a gunfight now. Get over it. It could always be worse. Okay. All right. So, quick reminder: you have all your materials over here. I will let me write that down. I want to upload a trade plan that some of current TGO members have sent me. Like, hey, here's the trade plan I use. So remind me tomorrow if I don't to share some of the trade plans that other people have. This is all for this week, folks. This, welcome aboard, and here's who I am, and mindfulness, and trade plan. Now we got shit to do. Okay, tomorrow in our primary brief, here's the replay page. Just one more time, we got shit to do. I got to teach you how to trade options. I showed you this morning. Let's go look at that trade real quick. Look at that, man. That was fantastic. The current market price of the trade is 20 cents. I sent that alert out at $1.45. Look at that, man. What's that? $1.25. So $1.25. Whoops. $1.25 times 15 contracts. $1,900. So if you stayed in that trade that we fired this morning, you're up $1,900. And if you want to stay in it, you could probably squeeze out the extra $200 and potentially make $2,100. Pigs get slaughtered, right? But we take profit, 7, 8, 9. Now, if you are in the Max Afterburner group over here, or in our Hunters, which you'll learn about tomorrow, I might get ready to shoot a bullish trade here as the market hovers and might turn around the rest of the day. I love this stuff, folks. Very, very passionate about what we do. Okay. Um, and I hope that came through today. Very passionate about what I do. And I love putting the ladder down to help people learn how to trade. This ain't some get rich quick scam. This is not bullshit. I risk my own money. I'll show you my personal account. I got Amazon and I got psychedelics and I shoot my snipers here. This ain't hard, man. This ain't rocket surgery, but you need to put in a little bit of effort. Once you put in a little bit of effort, man, doing your full throttle training, let's go look right here. Full throttle right here. All the training sessions are right under here, right at the top of the page. You get your workbooks and manuals that you can download. And then here's all the training for you to start watching, man. Iron condors, double verticals. Well, I'll talk more about this tomorrow. I'm not opening up the memberships yet, but this is where all the full throttle training resides. Okay. A little bit of elbow grease at the beginning. Once you get airborne at cruise altitude, you will be a Jedi Master. By the end of this week, by the time we wrap up Thursday morning, you're going to know what you're doing. Okay. And some people are like, I know what I'm doing and I'll do this on my own. That's awesome. Hell, there are people that have been here for 14 years. And it's not because they didn't learn how to trade options. They stay for the trade ideas and the camaraderie. Okay. Which is awesome, which I absolutely love. Okay. So congrats on the $1,900 if you're still in that trade. And I will teach you how to do that S&P 500 sniper. That's good stuff. And I'm excited. Okay. So we're going to, like I said, let me just share the flight schedule one more time in case people showed up a little bit late. You need to choke yourself and give me 20 push-ups if you did show up late. There's the flight schedule here, right there. So this is the rest of the week. So we're done. We're done Monday. We got Tuesday tomorrow morning. We're going to do some options, basics. Wednesday, we're going to do our spread training. Thursday, we're going to go psychedelic and learn how to invest to save and change lives. That's also your homework. I know I went way late. I went 10 minutes late. My apologies, folks. Go look at these names right now for the people who are new to to here. Atai. Write that one down. Atai. ATAI. The next one, MNMD, Mind Med. MNMD. Write that down. Mind Med. Nice pop today, 5%. Compass, CMPS. CMPS. And then the last one, Cybin, CYBN. Cybin. Those are the 4 psychedelic stocks I would buy today with both hands. We'll talk about those on Thursday, but I need you to go start doing a little research on your own into these names. Okay. MindMed has been in the news a lot. He was on CNBC last week. Jim Cramer interviewed the CEO of MindMed and the LSD study. So we got a lot to talk about. Atai, are you looking for a top momentum pick? Atai Life Sciences. A lot of great stuff going on in the psychedelic space, folks. Investors pile into psychedelic drug startups tackling mental health. I love this headline in Bloomberg. LSD, ecstasy, lure traders betting on psychedelic renaissance. Ain't no bet, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done these medicines or you know nothing about them, you might be betting on psychedelic renaissance. I lived it. I've done it. Ain't no bet. It's a I was going to hesitate using this word. I'm not. It's a sure thing. Because I usually tell people, if you ever hear any dude tell you something's a sure thing, he's lying and he's an idiot. Not in this stuff. Period. And I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't done it and do it and see the results of the heroes' lives we help save and change. All right, I got to go. I went 15 minutes long, which means everybody gets a free round of drinks or a free microdose. I don't drink anymore, so that would be bad. You bet, Sandra. Namaste. Mike, pro tip. And if the current price of your SPX Bear call spread trade is 20 cents or less, you better close the trade now. Exactly. Don't leave that trade option. That's exactly right, man. Do not turn that trade's up 90% right now, 95% right now. And look at the S&P right now. We just turned, didn't we? I just said I got to get going. I'm probably going to do a bull put spread right now. So Mike brings up a great point, man. Between now and the close, something incredibly great could happen, and that bear call spread that you're up $1,900 in turns into a $5,000 loss. Don't do that. And that will happen if you're not disciplined. So you saw me. I closed it already. It hit a profit target. I'm out. But the S&P is starting to turn here. So Mike brings up a great point. Pigs get slaughtered. Do not turn a winning trade into a losing trade. Okay. Good pro tip, Mike. Good mutual support. All right, folks, I got to get going. The replay page is up, and it takes about 30 to 40 minutes for me to render this recording. This will be on the replay page, and then you're welcome, Mark. And then I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Again, if you can't make it, all the replays will be on our page right here for the rest of the week. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, you're welcome, Matt. Tomorrow morning, we're going to open up 50 annual slots. Done kind of with the Tire Kicker monthly memberships. If I don't get a full 50 by Thursday, then I'll maybe allow a couple Tire Kickers in. But I'm tightening the ship up again here, like I did in the old days, because monthly Tire Kickers are a pain in the ass sometimes. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged, and I'm going to show you tomorrow how we're hedged and we're making money. Fights on, namaste, and basi basi. What does basi mean? Basi means truth to the Bawidis tribes in Africa. And I might be going to Gabon in a couple months to go be initiated into a Bawidi tribe. Separate conversation we'll talk about Thursday. All right, God bless, fights on, namaste, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Welcome aboard Top Gun Options in Full Throttle. We'll see you.